All right, I want to now bring in Karen Attiah. She was Jamal Khashoggi's editor at the Washington Post. Karen, good to see you. This has been an incredible, roller coaster ride for you, for Khashoggi's family. I mean, his Washington Post family, of course, his fiancée, who was outside that consulate wondering, about his demise. Where is he? So now there is this explanation, 17 days after his disappearance from the Saudis, this chokehold. You posted this tweet in just, 2 words here, utter BS. So talk to me about how you're feeling now that the Saudi government has expressed itself this way.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. I mean, the idea that Jamal, someone who is a 60-year-old man, wore glasses, anybody who knew him in life is just a very kind, gentle man, that he would have died in a fight against 15 men. No, that was not a fight. That is, if anything, if we're going to give any credence to this, it's a setup and an ambush, frankly, at the hands of Saudis at a consulate. So my reaction is that it just lacks all credibility. It's insulting. It's insulting to any sort of thinking person's intelligence that someone the U.S. officials, U.S. intelligence officials had messages that there was a plan all the way up to Mohammed bin Salman to capture Khashoggi Jamal. It just adds insult to the tragedy and to this heinous, heinous crime, and we're not buying it.
So I imagine you, Washington Post family, his fiancée, no one would think that the Saudi authorities would get to the bottom of it, since, his disappearance and his demise originates right there in the Saudi consulate. But where is your hope in terms of who or how anyone will get to the bottom of what happened? Who would be held culpable for his murder, his reported, just torture, and just heinous, ending of his life?
Sure. Well, first of all, the communications czar, Saud al-Qahtani, who has been fired apparently in relation to this. He once said in a tweet in the Washington Post editorial board, mentioned this, that he does nothing without the orders and approval of Mohammed bin Salman and the king. So I think we do have an opportunity. First of all, Qahtani is famous for using Twitter to encourage a blacklist, a Twitter list of Saudi citizens to go after. I think, if anything, Twitter needs to investigate and potentially disable his account. I think, now that he has been named as someone who had an intimate connection to this crime, the Magnitsky Act, the ability for Congress to impose heavy, heavy sanctions on this individual is absolutely something that should be pursued. But again, this does not absolve Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Jamal once told me that nothing, especially of this magnitude, nothing happens without the knowledge of the Crown Prince, that Mohammed bin Salman is absolute. So we still demand answers, but at the very least, there's plenty that we can do about Saud al-Qahtani.
You all really paid homage to Jamal by printing, his last right. And, in his article, he talked about how important it is, to uphold, to preserve, the discipline, the vocation of journalism, of crafting journalism. In your way, was this, Jamal getting the last word, or, what was the real impetus behind why you felt it was important to print his final thoughts?
I think in my year of knowing him and working with him, this was the thing. Free expression, having a platform for free air voices was the one thing that he felt the most passionate about. And it's striking to me that for whatever headaches that he may have caused in life writing for us, for the Post, and his constructive criticism of the Saudi authorities, now in his death at Saudi hands, he could cause shock waves of consequences for the Saudi authorities. So I think the fact that his last message to us was a gentle prodding of all of us to respect freedom of expression and to give Arab voices a chance to be able to speak to their people, to improve their societies, is a fitting reminder and another sign that we've just lost such a treasure in Jamal Khashoggi in such a terrible way.
And then, Karen, juxtapose that with the president who says he finds the explanation from Saudi Arabia as credible.
Well, I'll say that at least with Trump, he said that this is a first step, so let's hold him to that. There's plenty that the administration could do to hold those who were a part of this accountable. But yes, this first reaction that this is credible is doing part of the PR work for the Saudi royal family, and it's unacceptable. And it sends a chilling message to all journalists, all people who dare to criticize regimes that are authoritarian, that they can be persecuted, and the leader of the free world, the United States, will turn a blind eye. There's time for them to correct this, but at this point, they're doing the PR work for the Saudi regime, and it's unacceptable.
Karen Attiah of the Washington Post, your passion, your pain, all of it has been palpable, and what a tribute to your colleague, Jamal Khashoggi.